In this exhibit, I will describe the first part leading to Canadian nationalism in the period of 1914 to 1929, starting with the Treaty of Versailles. Because of Canada's credible commitment in the war effort in the World War I, Canada was given its own seat, and now it had its own foreign policies separate from Britain. This was a huge increase in the Canadian pride and nationalism. Finally, Canada was representing North America because the USA Senate rejected the Treaty of Versailles. Secondly, the Chinac Affair. Prime Minister Mackenzie King informed the British government that the approval of Canadian Parliament was necessary for the Chinac Affair. This proved to the world the independence of Canada's foreign policies. Third came the Battle of Vimy Ridge. In this battle, Canadian men showed their courage and bravery. The Canadian 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th Division for the first time united, forming 100,000 men in total. They covered the gap made by the French and British troops and were a necessary key in the victory of the battle. It was a risky war, but the Canadians fought with bravery and proved to the world that they have strategic plans. This increases Canada's nationalism and pride with its country. It was at Vimy Ridge that the Canadian Corps captured more ground, more prisoners and more guns than any previous British offensives in the 2.5 years that followed in the war to the battle. Came the Balfour Report. This declared that Canada was now separate from the British Empire, but was considered as a British Commonwealth country. It was free to make its own decisions. The Statute of Westminster was passed on. It means that termination of the right of British government to disallow any legislation passed by Canada. Representation of the first Canadian Foreign Minister was also present when Vincent Massey was appointed as Canada's Minister to the United States. Last but not least, a significant event that led to Canada's nationalism and pride was the Battle of Passchendaele. Sir Arthur Currie led the Canadian troops to take over the village of Passchendaele in a very short period of time. They took over it from the period of 30th of October to November 6th, which is less than a week. This was a great event and had positive attributes towards the increase of Canadian nationalism, because they were able to bring victory home. Not only that, it also showed that the Canadians were able to achieve what others could not achieve. The British, Australian and New Zealand armies were fighting but had little advances and over 100,000 casualties, while Canadians were able to finish the war with victory in a week.